G-Rod battles, but Baumann ends up getting blasted by Belt in the 10th, dropping game one for the O's against the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll talk about it in this one. Let's have a mound visit.
Let's go O's!
What's going on, Birdland? Baltimore Bobs here, and welcome to the Baltimore Bobs YouTube channel where we discuss all things Baltimore Orioles. I'm your host, Bobs, and unfortunately in this episode we got to talk about how the Birds dropped game one against the Toronto Blue Jays in their return trip back to Camden Yards, 6-3 in extras. It's unfortunate, but let's get right into this. So we'll get into the box score. Toronto has 6 runs on 12 hits, 1 error. Baltimore has 3 runs on 9 hits, 0 errors, and Meza ends up getting the W. Baumann ends up taking the loss as he pitched the 10th, and then Romano ends up getting the save for the Toronto Blue Jays. First and foremost, I want to talk about how G-Rod battled, man. It wasn't a bad outing. It was still a quality outing. 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks on 94 pitches. When G-Rod left the game, it was all knotted up at 3. So I would say that it was a little bit less than his dominant outings that he's had here recently, but it was still a really good baseball game. He still gave us an opportunity to win. And tip your cap to G-Rod, man, because if you're having like a slightly off night where you're giving up a little bit more base knocks, but you're able to battle and keep your team in the game, that bodes well for the future. So Webb comes in the 7th, gets 2. He does give up a hit, but he also strikes out 1. And then CNL Perez has a real good battle where he's able to get us out of the inning. Yunior Cano pitches 1. Felix pitches another. He pitches the 9th. They're both clean. And then Baumann, unfortunately, gets touched up a little bit in the 10th. Let's talk about the Orioles hitters. So Allie Rutschman had a good day at the plate. He goes 2 for 5. Mountie, who has been an absolute Toronto Blue Jays killer. They solved him last night. He goes 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. He is able to draw a walk. Gunnar Henderson goes 1 for 5. Austin Hayes had a big RBI double earlier in the game. He goes 1 for 4. Jordan Westberg goes 2 for 5. McCann goes 1 for 3. Extended, I think, his hit streak to 9 games, which has been pretty impressive considering he's not an everyday player. Ryan O'Hearn, pinch hit for him in the 10th. He goes 0 for 1. Cedric Mullins goes 0 for 4. He also had 3 Ks. Ryan McKenna went 1 for 4. And Jorge Mateo goes 1 for 4. The Baltimore Orioles as a team go 9 for 39. And, you know, it's a real good baseball game. All the way up until the 10th, and that's kind of what we're going to get right into as far as the play-by-play is concerned, because, you know, that's the important part of the game. So obviously you move into the 10th inning, and Baumann takes the hill. You have the ghost runner, and the first batter he faces, belts one over the stinking right center field wall, 417 feet, to put the Toronto Blue Jays up, unfortunately, 5-3. And then, just to add insult to injury, a wild pitch ends up scoring Guerrero, making it 6-3. And then the Birds were unable to do anything in the bottom half of the 10th, which, dropping game one, that moves them to 77-48. And to kind of pile on bad news, the Rays, which are playing a not so good Colorado Rockies team at home, they won, which means that the Baltimore Orioles AL East lead shrinks down to 2. And so, it's pretty much as bad as it gets, if you will. Used a lot of pitchers, and we weren't able to get game one against the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, our head-to-head against Toronto is already sealed for the season. We have that in the bag. That's not what we're playing for. We're trying to keep that AL East lead intact, and it's kind of hovering between 2 and 3. And right now with Tampa Bay playing Colorado and the Birds playing a surging Toronto Blue Jays team, it makes these next 2 games really important because we have Colorado next, and then we got the Chicago White Sox after that. But if we can handle business against the Blue Jays, it really does set us up for success and trying to expand this lead within the next week, 2 weeks, if you will. So, unfortunately, the Birds dropped game one. Like I said, moving them to 77 and 48. They will get another opportunity, obviously, tonight to handle business and get back in the win column. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to send out Kevin Gausman. He's 9-7 with a 3.24 ERA, so things don't get any easier. This is kind of a tougher guy that the Baltimore Orioles are going to have to battle against. And then we'll also see if Jack Flaherty, who's 8-8 with a 4.73 ERA, if he can bounce back from that his last outing, which was not very good. So he's going to be put in a big spot. And this is why we brought him over. This is an important game, and I think that the Orioles understand that because Toronto's still 7.5 games back. That's still within striking distance. So we do need to handle business, and they will get that opportunity at 7:05 tonight to get back in the win column. So, hey, that's the thing about baseball, right, guys? You're not going to win them all. You can't win them all. It's just not... It's not something that you don't go undefeated in baseball. These games happen. So we'll see if the Birds can bounce back tonight against Kevin Gausman. And, it stinks. Birds drop game one that you really wanted. But we'll be all right, Birdland. So, hey, 7:05, Gausman and Flaherty. We'll see if the Birds can right the ship. Hope y'all have a good day. We'll check you on the next one, Birdland.